Good morning students. Welcome in this class. This video is for class 8 subject Social Science. Today we are going to start History chapter 8 Civilizing Natives and Educating the Nation. It is the first lecture of this chapter, and in today's lectures topics to be discussed are: first one, how British saw education; second, the tradition of Orientalism; grave errors of the East; education for commerce; and in last, homework will be given to you. So let's start today's discussion. Yes friends, as in our earlier chapters we have studied how British rule affected Rajas and Nawabs, farmers and tribals. Okay, so in this chapter we will try and understand what implication it had for the lives of students. Okay, actually the British in India wanted not only the territorial conquest and control over revenues, but they also felt that they had a cultural mission. They had to civilize the natives. They wanted to change their customs and values. So in today's lecture we will discuss about the changes which were made by the British in education system of India. Okay, so first, how British saw education. Yes friends, actually in this chapter we will study about the two schools of thoughts. Okay, in which one is there Orientalist and second one is Anglicist. So first you must know about the Orientalist. Okay, means the first we will study about the thoughts of tradition of orientations. Okay, so for that you must know about the meaning of Orientalist. Actually the Britishers are divided into two groups related to the that thoughts of education or in the opinion of education. One were there that is Orientalist and second one there Anglicist. So who were these Orientalists? Actually the Orientalists were the people who had sound knowledge of the language and culture of Asia. Okay, they favored the development of Sanskrit and Persian language in India. They also wanted the medium of instructions to be in these languages. They wanted to set up such educational institution that encouraged the study of ancient Indian text. The Orientalists had respect for the ancient culture of India and wanted to revive the same. Means the Orientalists were the people or the group of those people, those who were in the favor of Asian culture, those who wanted to give the education in Sanskrit and Persian language. Okay, means they were in the favor of Persian and Sanskrit language. They wanted to educate the Indian children in their own language, means in the Sanskrit and Persian. So you must know about it. Who were the Orientalists? Orientalists were the person or the British who were in the favor of Asian culture, who wanted to teach the students of Indian in their own language like Persian and Sanskrit. Okay, actually there were means the Orientalists had respect for the ancient culture of India and wanted to revive the same. There were also a political motive behind the encouragement of Sanskrit and Persian language and text. Why were they in did they were in favor of the Persian language or in Sanskrit language? Actually after that they had a political motive also. And what was this motive? The political motive behind the encouragement of Sanskrit and Persian language and text, actually for its administration and judiciary. The company wanted the help of Indians who were that fully, you can say, had a knowledge with these languages. The ancient Indian text of administration, laws, rules of revenue, okay, were either in Sanskrit or Persian. Okay, for a better understanding of India's past, its cultures, rules, laws, tradition, customs, the company official required person who could communicate these to them in simple terms. Okay, that's why they were in the favor of Persian and Sanskrit language. And out of these Orientalists, one person was there, that was William Jones. Okay, so who was he? Who was William Jones? Actually, William Jones was a hardcore Orientalist. He was a Orientalist means he was well versed in Greek, Latin, French, okay, English, Arabic and Persian language. Okay, so actually he was a linguist. Linguist means he had knowledge of many languages. Okay, and he had appointed a junior judge in the Supreme Court of Calcutta in 1783. Okay, when he came in India, so when he reached in India, he started studying ancient Indian texts on laws, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetic, medicine and other science. Actually means he studied most of the subjects, gained knowledge. Okay, and like when he came in 1783, I told that he joined the companies of Hindu Pandits and learned Sanskrit language, grammar and poetry. Okay, and many other people were also there, those who joined the William Jones. Okay, in which one was there, that is Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nanethiel Alhad. These were two more British officials, those who were in the favor of the opinion or thoughts of William Jones. Okay, means he also supported to the that William Jones. Okay, so Miss Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nanethiel Alhad, they were also interested in Indian text. They together translated many Sanskrit and Persian texts into English, set up Asiatic Society of Bengal and started a journal, Asiatic Research. Okay, so you must know about it. Ki who set up Asiatic Research? So Asiatic Research or Asiatic Society of Bengal. Okay, and these were started by Thomas Colebrook and Nanethiel Alhad. Okay, and a madrasa was also set up in Calcutta in 1781 to promote the study of Arabic, Persian and Islamic laws. So understood? Means they made many you can say efforts, okay, to encourage the study of that text of Sanskrit and Persian. So for that they set up a Asiatic Research. Okay, and for that you can say discovery of ancient Indian heritage, or mastering in Indian languages, and in which many Sanskrit and Persian textbooks were translated into English. So this was the work of Asiatic Research. And who set up this Asiatic Research? This was set up by Thomas Colebrook, Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nanethiel Alhad. Okay, and for the to encourage the Sanskrit and Persian language, to promote the study of Arabic and Persian language, Islamic language. So a madrasa was also set up by in Calcutta in 1781. Okay, where the children were given the knowledge of ancient or Asian text in Arabic or Persian language. Okay, so beta, these were the Orientalists. This group of the people, British officials, were known as Orientalists. So understood about the Orientalists? Who were the Orientalists? Means Orientalists were the people who had knowledge of the language and culture of Asia, and they favored the development of Sanskrit and Persian languages in India, and they also wanted the medium of instructions to be in these two languages. Okay, so understood about the Orientalist? Okay, now next point, in 1791, Hindu College was established in Banaras to encourage the study of ancient Sanskrit texts that would be useful for the administration of the country. Yes, friends, just I told you that to encourage, to promote the Persian language or Arabic language, madrasa was set up. What do you know about the madrasa? What do you mean by madrasa? Actually, madrasa was you can say school where the students are given the knowledge of Persian language, okay, Islamic culture. That was known as madrasa. So for to promote that Persian and Arabic language, what was set up? Madrasa was set up, okay. And to promote the Sanskrit language, means for the Hindu society, you can say. For the Muslim society, madrasa was set up. For the Muslim children, madrasa was there. And for the Hindu culture, for the Hindu society, in 1791, Hindu college was set up or established. Where? In Banaras. Okay, for what purpose? To encourage the study of ancient Sanskrit text that would be useful for the administration of the country. Understood about the Orientalist? Okay, so for that you will tell first William Jones was there. He was a Orientalist. He had the knowledge of many languages like Latin, French, English, Arabic, Persian. Okay, and to promote the that Arabic and Persian language, a madrasa was set up by the Orientalist, and Banaras Hindu College was also set up in 1791 to promote Sanskrit text or Sanskrit language. Okay, students. Yes. Now our next topic, that grave errors of the East. Now we have studied about the thoughts of Orientalists. Okay, means those who were in the favor of which language? Asian, Arabic, or you can say that Sanskrit language. Okay, means they wanted to give the education or teach the students in their own language about that they were familiar. Okay, now we will study about the second category, those who were against the Sanskrit or Persian language, and these groups were known as Anglicists. So in the starting I told you that in this chapter we are going to study about the two schools of thought, Orientalist and Anglicist. So we have studied about Orientalist. Now I will tell you about the Anglicist. So who were these Anglicists? Means the Orientalists were opposed by the Anglicist. Okay, means the Anglicist was a group of people, those who were against the Asian culture and language. Okay, they emphasized upon the English language to be the medium of instruction in the educational institution. Means they wanted, English as a language of medium or instructions in Indian educational institution. Okay, means they wanted to give the education, okay, or they wanted to teach the students in English language. And who were in this favor? Who were these Anglicists? These were James Mill and Thomas Macaulay. So beta, you must know about the name of these officials. Who were sometimes this question is asked, name the Orientalist. So Orientalist with William Jones, Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nathaniel Alhad. These three persons were that Orientalist and Anglicist. In Anglicist means Thomas Macaulay and James Mill. Okay, means these two persons were the main supporter of English, you can say, as well as the scientific knowledge. They wanted to that acquaint the Indians with the advancement of science and technology, okay, blooming in the West. Understood? Miss Raja Ram Mohan Rai also advocated the imparting of Western education through English medium. Understood, students? Okay. So, and I think they were the right. They wanted to give the scientific knowledge, and for that they asked grave errors of the East. What does it mean? It means that they told that the Asian culture was full of error. There was a lot of error in the Asian culture, that there were no, you can say, scientific knowledge. Asian culture didn't give any scientific knowledge. Okay, and that means it is the knowledge of this culture is useless. they declared this thing. They had this type of opinion. That's why they that considered the Asian text as a grave error. Okay, so and in which who were there? That was Macaulay, I told you. Okay, and the second person was there, James Mill. Okay, and so what did they say about this Asian culture? Now we will study about it. Okay, so they said that knowledge of the East was full of error and unscientific thoughts. Okay, so means in the early 19th century, many British officials began to criticize the Orientalist version of learning. So they were the opposed, means they were the opposed by the Orientalists were opposed by the Anglicists. Okay, and they said what they said. They said that the knowledge of East was full of error and unscientific thought. Means the Asian culture or the Eastern knowledge, they didn't give any scientific knowledge. Okay, and it was full of error. It doesn't give any information. It didn't give any information. So that's why they considered is grave error of the East. They said Eastern literature was non-serious and light-hearted. Okay, they said that in Asian culture there is nothing to study. Okay, it is useless. It didn't give any information. Okay, and it is not practical. Didn't give any knowledge of our practical life. It was just give the religious. Okay, means it just give the religious knowledge. It just told about that customs, rituals, sacrifices. Okay, didn't give any scientific knowledge. That's why they said Eastern literature was non-serious. It is light-hearted. Okay, and so James Mill was one of those who attacked the Orientalists. The British efforts, he declared, should not be to teach what the natives wanted or what they respected in order to please them or win a place in their heart. They said that the aim of the education ought to be teach what was useful and practical. Yes. Okay, means they didn't want that the people must give the education, okay, about they were familiar. So he said that the education must be, scientific and technical. Okay, means the aim of the education ought to be teach what was useful and practical. Okay, so Indians should be made familiar with the scientific and technical advances that the West had made rather than with the poetry and scared literature of the Orient. Understood? Means they were in the favor of giving scientific knowledge. They were not in the favor of the scared literature of the Orient. Means the literature which give only religious knowledge. Okay? Understood? Yes. Now next is there. James Mill was one of those who attacked the Orientalists. According to him, the aim of the education ought to be teach what was useful and practical. So, Indians should be made familiar with the scientific and technical advances that the West had made rather than with the poetry and scared literature of the Orient. Already I have discussed this. James Mill was one of the officers, those who were not in the favor of or opinion of the Orientalist. Okay, he said that to just make or the place or to just create a place in the heart of the Indians, they should not give the educations of those text to whom they were familiar. Okay, but in place of that, they must give scientific knowledge or practical, practical knowledge. Okay, so they wanted that Indians should be made familiar. They must be given the scientific knowledge, technical knowledge, okay, which Western people had already made. Okay, and rather than with the poetry and scared literature of the Orient. Yes. So next one is there. Yes, Thomas Babington Macaulay, another critic of Orientalist, saw India as uncivilized country that needed to be civilized. This I told you. So who were the Anglicists? Thomas Macaulay, Babington, okay, and James Mill. These three. Okay, and they considered that Indian people were uncivilized and there was a need to make them civilized, to give them scientific knowledge, to give them technical knowledge. He emphasized the need to teach English language, and following Macaulay's niche, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. Okay, actually Macaulay urged the British government. Macaulay requested the British government not to waste the money, okay, on Indians, to give them or to give the educations of their Asian culture. They said that it was totally useless. So for that, they urged the British government, they requested the British government to change the Indian education policy. Okay, means they wanted some changes in the education policy, okay, in Indian system. And for that, okay, the British government passed an act that was known as English Education Act 1835. Okay, so on the demand of Anglicists, British government passed an act in 1835. Okay, that in February 1835, that Macaulay clearly laid down that the main purpose or aim of the British would be promotion of Western literature and science among the Indians. Okay, so all educational funds were to be spent on English education. Efforts were also made to stop the promotion of Calcutta Madrasa or the Banaras Sanskrit College, which favored Oriental learning. Okay, so for that, what was done? Okay, on the demand of Macaulay, what was done by the British government? First, funds which were given by the British government to promote Madrasa and Banaras College. Earlier I told you that to promote Sanskrit language, Banaras Hindu College was set up. Okay, and to promote that Persian language, Madrasa was set up. So after this demand of the Macaulay, the promotion or the funds which were to be spent, okay, on these two educational institutions, they were stopped. Efforts were also made to stop the promotion of these two, Calcutta Madras and Banaras Sanskrit College. Because why? Because they favored Oriental learning and Anglicists were against them. Okay, so now what was this 1835 Education Act? So according to this Education Act, a decision was taken. What was decision? Decision was taken to make English the medium of instruction for higher education, to stop the promotion of Oriental institution. According to 1835, according to English Education Act 1835, as the name mentioned, that according to this act, English was declared or made the medium of instructions for the higher education. So it was decided that higher education, okay, was given in English medium, and primary classes, the students were given the education in their own language. Okay, understood? So what was that Education Act, English Education 1835? So you have to tell that according to English Education Act 1835, decision was taken that English was made the medium of instruction for higher class, and for primary classes the education will must be given in their own language. Okay, yes. Now education for commerce. What was this? In 1854, Wood's dispatch, an educational dispatch, was sent to India, outlining the education policy that was to be followed in India. It emphasized on the practical benefits of the system of European learning. This is very important topic and you must know about it. 1854 Wood's dispatch. Very important question. What do you mean by the Wood dispatch? 1854. Now I am telling, listen very carefully, what was Wood dispatch? Actually in 1854, Charles Wood, that was the name and official, means that was the president of Board of Control. Board of Control, that this Board of Control, actually at that time what is there, Board of Control was a group of people in that Britain who took the decisions related to the Indian administration. Understood students? What was the Board of Control? Board of Control, okay, means the group of officials, British officials in England, those who took decisions related to Indian administration. And Charles Wood was the president of this Board of Control, and he formulated a scheme for you can say future education in India. Actually the main purpose of this you can say policy, or you can say dispatch, to provide a coordinated system of education on an all Indian basis. The scheme came to be known as the Wood dispatch. Okay, so in short, if I tell that the education policy which was to be followed in India, formulated by the president of Board of Control, Charles Wood, 1854, is known as Wood dispatch. Okay, and what was the main purpose of this Wood dispatch? It emphasized the practical benefits of the system of European learning. Yes, so what was this Wood of dispatch? Wood dispatch argued that the European learning would improve the moral characters of Indians and make them truthful and honest, and thus supply the company with civil servants who could be trusted and dependent upon. Yes, actually students, the main recommendations of the Wood dispatch, if I tell you that first is their medium of instruction in higher classes to be English language. Teaching of Western education would be the aim of the government education policy. Okay, means the main aim of the Wood that dispatch was their teaching of Western education. Teaching of Western education, and grants in aid were to be provided to encourage education. That he made provision of setting up of universities at Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Okay. Actually that it emphasized on every field of education. The Wood dispatch came to be known as, that is, Magna Carta of English education in India. Okay, so according to that Wood dispatch, they argued the European learning. They thought that if the Indians were given Western knowledge, European knowledge, means European text knowledge, that this would be helpful to improve the moral character of Indians. They would must be faithful and truthful to the British government. They must be ready to do work for the British. That's why they were in the favor of the European education. Okay, so next is there main, you can say, recommendations of the Wood dispatch. Several measures were introduced by the British. Steps were taken to establish a system of university education. As I told you, under this Wood dispatch, the main, you can say, universities were set up in 3 cities, Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. So you must know about it. Under the Wood dispatch, universities were set up in Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Attempts were also made to bring about changes within the system of school education. Okay, as I told that English was made the medium of instructions for higher classes. Okay, now I will tell you the measures taken by the English Education Act of 1835 were: first, English was made the medium of instructions for higher education. Promotions of Oriental institutions like the Calcutta Madrasa and Banaras Sanskrit College was stopped. These institutions were seen as temple of darkness that were falling off themselves into decay. Okay, means according to them, they were just given, means they were as considered as a temples. We are just scared, or you can say rituals or sacrifice, means knowledge of ritual sacrifice or religious knowledge are given. Means according to them, that in Calcutta Madrasa or Banaras Sanskrit College, they just give the religious knowledge. They didn't give any scientific knowledge. That's why they considered them as temples of darkness. English textbooks began to be produced for schools. Okay, now English textbooks also started. They also become the part of curriculum. Understood? So these were some measures which were taken by English Education Act 1835, and we have discussed about the Wood Dispatch also. Ki what you can say measures were taken by the Wood Dispatch. I told first one is there. Teaching of Western education would be the aim of the government education policy. Medium of instruction in higher class to be the English only. Okay, and for made provision for setting up vernacular primary school in village. What does it mean? Ki in the villages, that vernacular means local language, where the students were given education in their local language. That is the meaning of vernacular. Okay, grants in aid were to be provided to encourage education. Many you can say made provision for setting up universities at Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Stress was laid on the establishment of vocational and technical schools and colleges. Teachers training centers institutions were also established under Wood Dispatch policy. Okay, so that was, you can say, a positive points, okay, of the British rule in India. They introduced many good, you can say, or a good education system. Okay students, and the same education system we are following this time also. So in this way our today's lecture is completed. Now I will give you some question answer related to this taught topics. Okay, so in which our first question is there, who took the initiative to set up Calcutta Madrasa? This I told you ki who set up. Second one is there, who started the journal Asiatic Researches? This already we have discussed. Question 3, who were called Orientalists? Fourth, what did Thomas Macaulay urge British government in India? Question 5, what measures were taken by the that under in English education system 1835? Actually question number 5 is not you can say, see here completely I am repeating it, I am telling it again. So note this, note down this question. What is question number 5? What measures were taken by the British government under English Education Act 1835? Just we have discussed about it. Ki measures taken by the government under English Education Act 1835. So students, so in this way our today's lecture is completed. You have to write the answers of these questions in your fair notebook and submit it to me on my mail ID. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.